is out! A strong throw from left field and an even stronger throw from Coberville. And Otis has had no luck on the base pass in this game.
Well, nice point there, Sam, as you can announce the next batter. We'll discuss it. He was on the wrong end of a missed hit and run sign in the first inning and got thrown out trying to steal second base by a long while, and then gets gunned down at home. Good decision by Zach Oberville to cut it off and make the throw home himself.
Snyder gets a strike inside 0-1, so there's 2 outs and a runner on second now. How does that get scored?
Well, that's a base hit, and then 7-5-2 put out.
Gets away from Clyde, but blocks it effectively, and that runner is going to stay at second.
Brandon Close, by the way, had a brief word with the umpire, I believe trying to say that Clyde had blocked a bit too much of the plate. Umpire wasn't really hearing all of it, though.
Certainly didn't look it to me, as we have the best vantage point for that exact play.
I would say the best would actually be looking down that line to see just how much of the plate is available. But we certainly have a good vantage point here. From just to the third base side of home plate, that was ported for strike 2.
1-2, 2 outs, runner on second. Clyde, although North Broward's had a lot of wild pitches this year, Clyde has done a very effective job of blocking the plate this whole year. That one's a ball, and demonstrated once again on that play.
He's also done a good job of recovering once the ball does get by him, because he knows the corners of this backstop by this point in this season, so he knows where the ball is going to bounce off of the backstop if it does get past him.
Once again, not something that shows up on the scorebook, but something that is noticed by scouts. Inside, full count, 2 outs. Something a lot of scouts and coaches will talk about players, so they have the ability to finish. Can they close the book on at-bats? And we're going to have to see if Snyder has that right here. Contact made to Edwards at short, throws it over running, makes the out, and that's the end of the top of the fourth. We'll be right back with the bottom right after this. And we're back. Dusty Snyder looking to give himself a little bit more help. North Broward already up 6-1, but hey, overkill is underrated, isn't it? Sam Gelfand, voice of the Eagles, alongside Ben Curtis. And we're here for senior night at the North Broward Preparatory School in Coconut Creek, Florida. Certainly been an interesting game filled with lots of fast-paced action.
Well, North,
a lot of, a lot of people complain about baseball, saying it's not fast-paced enough for their liking. Where are they when games like this happen? As Snyder hits that one to the running third baseman, throws it over to first, and he's going to get the out. 1 pitch, 1 out for St. Andrews, and that'll bring up Marsh.
Hard luck for Dusty Snyder in 2 straight at-bats. He hit the ball hard both times. First time up in the second inning, lined one right at the second baseman. That time gets a good piece of the ball again, but a nice play by the third baseman, Derek Butcher, to make the play.
So here comes the pitch. Finds a strike zone, 0-1. Yeah, seriously, I was saying a lot of people's primary complaint about baseball is that it's not fast-paced enough. Where are they during games like this?
We had the cutoff play by Goberville to get Otis at the plate. We've had numerous extra base hits. It's been a good one tonight.
This is certainly as exciting as baseball games go, even with a 6-1 score.
North Broward looking to gain some momentum back before they head into the district playoffs.
That one's hit hard, but foul's going to land on top of the batting cages.
As I mentioned, they travel to Pembroke Pines Charter next time out. They have one more game after that. This is actually their last home game of the year. Last time they'll be batting in the bottom half of the inning.
Marsh gets plunked in the back. And he's going to take first base. I was about to say the back of the back, but that's a little redundant, isn't it?
Stepping up to bat, number 9, Xavier Edwards.
This is
the Edwards is going to
Sorry, Sam. This is the second straight game that we've done. Ty Marsh has gotten plunked. Got hit in that game against Oxbridge Academy as well.
Correct me if I'm wrong. I believe the major league leader all time is Craig Biggio.
I do believe you're right.
Hit by pitches.
Stood basically about as close to the plate as you can.
Marsh is going to take off, goes down, and he finds himself safe. A bag swiped, I should say. I got mixed between swiped and stolen. The point is, Ty Marsh is now on second, and I should take a little longer to think about what I'm going to say. Well, stood about as close to the plate as they could. Talking about speedier catchers at the earlier in this game, Jason Kendall had a penchant for doing that as well for the Pittsburgh Pirates. Craig Biggio, of course, a member of the Killer Bees. Jeff Bagwell, Lance Berkman, Craig Biggio.
I believe Berkman lasted the longest out of the three of them in terms of Major League Baseball.
Although I think Berkman, didn't he go back to the Astros
at
the end of his career?
He did indeed. Wanted another cup of coffee before he retired. One of the three of them just got inducted into the Hall of Fame. I believe it was Biggio. Or will be inducted into the Hall of Fame this July.
It was either Bagwell or Biggio.
It was not Berkman. I'm pretty sure it was Biggio.
All three of those are Hall of Fame candidates.
Most definitely, although I don't think Berkman is eligible yet. As I mentioned, he extended that career as long as he can.
I don't believe so either, but you have to imagine when the last of them does finally get inducted to the Hall of Fame, as I'm sure they will, it's going to be such a great exhibit. As Edwards exhibits a phenomenal bunt about as well as you can lay one down. Right down the third baseline. And gets himself a base hit, runners on first and third.
That is the second straight time that he has bunted for a base hit.
Number 24, Zach Cooperville.
Well, when you have that kind of speed, why wouldn't you be bunting for base hits?
And that's something that he will take with him at the next level as well, the Vanderbilt commit. Now Zach Goberville 0 for 1 tonight, but as we mentioned, he's been tearing the cover off the ball all season long. .410 batting average coming into this one. Does have the home run and 21 RBIs.
See what he does here. Edwards takes off. That's low. There's going to be no throw. And Edwards has himself a stolen base as well.
And now the situation changes a little bit for Goberville. Doesn't have to worry about the double play anymore now that Edwards is over at second base. And all of a sudden a base hit drives in 2 more.
So it's 1-0 now with 1 out and 2 runners in scoring position. Goberville, a big swing and fouled off. That was a beautiful cut, though.
Another thing that North Broward has to keep in mind, and I mentioned it with the lefty-righty matchup here, oftentimes that's more beneficial for the lefty, especially when he comes around. The pitcher does a more sidearm motion. You can almost see it coming from the third base dugout. But both of the pitchers so far tonight have been very over the top, Gelman and now Costello.
A lot of coaches at this level like to discourage sidearmers. It puts a lot of strain on your arm if you do it improperly. just inside, 1-2. I was a sidearm pitcher, didn't do me very much.
I was always taught go straight over the top, box your front arm, bring the elbow straight through.
You know, I was the only player that had to get their arm iced just from pregame warm-ups. Goberville hits that one foul. That's a true story, by the way.
One of those days, a ball is going to find its way into Lions Road, and somebody's going to be very unhappy. Nice move there from Goberville to stay alive, just fought it off with the screws of the bat. Gets to see another pitch from Costello.
Going to be hard to explain that one to your insurance. Foul tip, and Goberville goes down, bringing up Clyde. 2 outs now.
Stepping up to bat, number 31, Logan.
Clyde had that double back in the second inning that scored a couple of runs. He's 1 for 1 so far. He had a fielder's choice in the first.
Wyatt's looking for one to drive if I know him. Not going to find it on that pitch. Too high, 1-0.
I mentioned that both pitchers have gone straight over the top. This pitcher, however, Costello's, brought a lot more velocity to the table.
I believe with the RBI, Clyde now has 22 RBIs on the year. That one's high, same place, 2-0 now.
I believe that actually scored a couple of runs. It scored
Perhaps
both Marsh and Edwards.
23 runs.
So 23 runs batting
games.
it.
Still incredibly impressive.
And both Clyde and McBean, I do believe, are sophomores, the two leaders now in RBIs for North Broward. So plenty more years of productivity for manager Brian Campbell's Eagles.
3-0 count now, 2 outs, and two runners in scoring position. Clyde knows he's probably going to get a good pitch to hit right here, but I doubt he's going to get the swing away sign.
Well, with Ogo Zelia on deck, who's been so good with runners in scoring position, I have to imagine he's taking here.
And he does. Low strike, 3-1. That's a power hitter's pitch, though. That's one of those you just want to do a nice golf swing and just go for the par 5.
Smart move there from Logan Clyde, though. You have to make sure you withdraw those temptations.
I was talking instinct, not strategy. Takes that one for a strike as well. Full count now.
And now all of a sudden it's changed. The situation has. He's gone from being ultra aggressive, being able to pick his pitch, now having to protect the plate with 2 strikes and 2 outs.
So with a full count, 2 outs and 2 runners on, let's see what Clyde does. The answer is look at 1 for ball 4. Now Ogo has a bases loaded 2-out opportunity to make some noise.
No batting, number 11, Dylan Ogunzoli.
Well, how great would this be, the senior?
It would be storybook, wouldn't it?
1 for 2 so far tonight with the base hit RBI in the first.
And scored himself.
And scored himself, also flew out to center field back in the second.
So Ogunzoli already responsible for 1/3 of North Broward's runs tonight. Imagine if he made some more noise here, that'd be great. Finds a strike zone. Mr. Marsh not very happy with that. Is it sad that I can tell who he is just from the sound of his voice
Well,
at this point?
that outside part of the plate and low has been controversial all night.
That one's a ball, though. No real debate over that one, 1-1.
And it's been where a lot of the pitches have gone. I mentioned in the top half of the third inning how Dusty Snyder's been perfectly content to go fade side, outside part of the plate to righties.
Another ball low, 2-1. This is why I keep you around, because you think of these things, and I don't.
Glad to know that that's why you keep me around. It's not a pleasure to be with or anything along those lines.
Amongst many reasons.
Okay.
Amongst many
Okay.
reasons.
Way to sneak that in there at the end.
And Ogo pops one up to the center fielder, shallow. Had there been only 1 out, that would have scored a couple, but now that's the end of the inning. We'll be right back going into the 5th right after this on Brainwash Sports Twitch TV.